I'd like to ask again back to the stage His Worship, Mayor Len Brown.
Kia ora everyone, and it's great to see such a turnout today on this occasion. I again want to formally acknowledge you, Eru, on behalf of local mana whenua for your welcome here. Always erudite, informative and reflective back on our history. Never shall we forget where our roots are from the past into the future. I want to acknowledge you, Paseta Sam Loto Inga Talofa Lava, Lasunga. Sam, it is wonderful to see you here on behalf of the Minister. We have worked very closely with your government, with the Minister of Economic Development and many other ministries, the Honourable Stephen Joyce, and we have worked very closely to align this new strategy of ours, the Economic Development Strategy that we're launching here today, with the government's documentation. Okay, I also want to obviously acknowledge the many councillors who are present here today along the front row. I want to thank you all for being present here, and I need to pay in particular specific reference to our Economic Development Leader, Arthur Anai. Councillor Arthur, thank you for being here, and you'll conclude proceedings today. I want to acknowledge the chairs and local board members who are present here, the members of the Independent Māori Statutory Board and the advisory boards who work in beside the governing body. I want to acknowledge the many members of the business community here, those who are representatives on and directors on the CCOs, to you all, and ladies and gentlemen, to my fellow speakers here this morning. I wish to acknowledge Phil O'Reilly on behalf of Business New Zealand. Phil, it's great to see you here. And also David McConnell. Can you all please put your hands together for those who will be speaking after me? Well, today is the launch of the Economic Development Strategy, a key part of Auckland's plank, becoming the country's economic powerhouse, because although we are to a degree there, we are not there to anywhere near the extent that our nation wishes us to be. One of the primary factors for the bringing together of Auckland as a united city of 1.5 million, with a third of the nation's population, was to create a genuine economic powerhouse. Sure, we as a city deliver 36% of the nation's GDP, but only 9% of that is export-oriented. The country desperately needs to earn overseas receipts. This economic development strategy being launched here today is foursquare aimed at that in terms of us creating a platform in Auckland, but in particular working closely and collaboratively with the business community, the government and all other agencies to ensure that we step our local economy up to play its part in the New Zealand story. We have our vision to create the world's most livable city, and in beside that we now have the Auckland Plan as a blueprint for the delivery of that vision. Auckland's future lies in being a globally connected, competitive economy dependent on quality of life. Cities are now the primary drivers and location of world economic growth, investment, businesses, jobs and wealth creation. As cities grow in scale and density, they become more productive. Auckland is following this global pattern. Large outward-facing global cities are critical for the development of entire nations, and we have a third of the nation's population. It's even more critical for us. We are therefore no different from those great powerhouse cities that are driving their nation's economies. These cities act as generators and attractors of business, skills and investment by developing their own recognisable brand. Auckland is the only city with the potential to play such a role in our nation. Our biggest challenge is to transform Auckland from being an internal service economy, 36% of the nation's GDP, but only 9% of it focused externally, less focused on consumption and things like property speculation, for which we are internationally famous, into an outwardly focused economy based on the productive and tradable sectors and clusters who can earn us overseas exchange, provide skilled jobs for all Aucklanders and add value to our nation. It's also no longer about competing with other cities in New Zealand. At 1.5 million population in the southern part of the southern hemisphere, our competition comes from Sydney, Melbourne, Brisbane, Adelaide, Vancouver, and Seattle. This morning at breakfast, I had breakfast with a business person by the name of Bushan Arokar, and Bushan owns a Porto restaurants and also the Urban Turban down on the waterfront. He came here 15 years ago from Mumbai. He came here with 14 other families and friends. Over the last 15 years, every year, he has shared every single one of his family and friends. They settled here and then either moved back into Australia or back to India or some other place around the globe. That is a trend that we need to arrest. Sure, attract talent, hold our talent, but not continually leak them around the globe. Recent statistics showed that in 2 months alone, 54,000 people moved out of the nation, and then 42,000. The focus of this strategy and the government strategy is assuredly about not only holding our own people, but attracting people from around the globe. There is a clear and immediate need to get more growth and jobs into Auckland's economy, a need to build a more resilient, high-value regional economy. Now is the time to get moving. Incremental change will not cut it anymore. We need a step change in our economic performance. The Auckland plan is about that, and this plan is about the delivery of that step change. Firstly, we need that because New Zealand's market is not large enough to achieve the economies of scale we need to compete with goods and services produced in larger markets. Secondly, because a domestically focused Auckland economy selling goods and services largely within New Zealand will be constrained by the rates of growth in what are relatively mature domestic markets. While increasing exports might sound like a simple prescription, achieving them by the rate needed to achieve our wider economic and community goals requires fundamental changes in the structure of Auckland's economy and focus. The change needed in Auckland's economic structure so that high-value exports make a much larger contribution to what we produce is, as we know, not a small task. We have already started putting the pieces together. For example, investing in the technology precinct in the Wynyard Quarter will bring together technology firms, business startups, incubators and research institutions together on a collaborating campus. This model brings together the essential elements in one place: ideas, product development, commercialisation and export expertise. The economic development strategy aims to strengthen that collaboration, provide and develop infrastructure, and attract, build and retain talent and business capability in Auckland. It also aims to make it easier to be innovative, leverage our strength and drive our competitive advantages. The document's clear focus is target, and we have therefore set 3 ambitious annual economic targets as the key direction for this strategy: a 6% plus increase in regional exports, a 5% plus increase in real GDP, and a 2% plus increase in productivity growth. The strategy provides, therefore, and behind those targets, a 10-year roadmap for how we achieve the targets and how Auckland does business. It sets out our priorities and cross-cutting themes to deliver transformational structural change. Our strategy is about collaboration with business, firstly, with government, the Council's own CCOs and a number of public agencies and individuals, many who are here today, to develop our priorities and action plans. Our job as a council is to set the platform for business to build our city and this nation on. We have 6 priorities within this strategy. The first is making Auckland a business-friendly, well-functioning city. It's about getting our planning, consents and compliant functions working as efficiently and effectively as we possibly can. As the saying goes, a quick no is far better than a slow yes, although of course nothing beats a fast yes. One of the people I regard as being something of a global leader in this area was the Premier of Victoria, Jeff Kennett, who when he came into Victoria as the Premier wrought some very significant change in Melbourne. And one of the cultural experiences or expressions of his leadership was that it was critical to be quite clear with the business community. If you're in the plan, give as quick a yes as you can. If you're not, a fast no. And that was critical to the step change and transformation of Melbourne as a great global city. And the current development of the Unitary Plan will be key to delivering on this business-friendly promise and giving effect to the Auckland Plan. The new Unitary Plan will be an interactive, web-based e-plan. I want to acknowledge you, Roger. That will be easy to navigate and have a level of flexibility while still providing as much certainty as possible. A pre-draft plan will be prepared by December 2012, and you'll be able to have an opportunity to get involved, if you haven't already, by March next year. The second priority we have identified as transport and broadband infrastructure as having the most potential to transform our economic landscape, and those are the ones that we are most focused on in the public mind. We have also started the designation process for the City Rail Link and are pressing on with diggers in action on the Amity, the Auckland Manukau Eastern Transport Initiative, both key integrated transport projects that we help to unlock the economic potential of our beautiful city. Our third priority is to develop Auckland as an innovative hub of the Asia-Pacific Rim. Aucklanders and New Zealanders are amazingly inventive people, and many of those inventions are being turned into innovative and world-beating products. But when compared to similar international cities, the ecosystem which supports innovation, science, research and technology is not well enough interconnected and linked up across Auckland. We need to maximise Auckland's innovation ecosystem, making the most of the talent we have, making sure that our learning and research institutions work well together with business and industry to transform ideas into export and increase export-related GDP. My very good friend Andy Hamilton, leading up Icehouse, is about the best example that I can think of this type of engagement. Fourth, our next priority is to become internationally connected and export-driven. Auckland's comparative advantages lie in sectors such as food and beverage, finance, health, technologies, marine, ICT, export education, tourism and screen. The strategy sets out the actions required to help them scale up further so that they become the foundation of our new economy. And that is also about attracting more high quality and productive FDI into Auckland. We are also leveraging the 19 partner city relationships which the Council has itself around the world, as these will help us to open doors with international trade partners and businesses. The recent missions to China and Pacific were especially productive, and in particular in the education sector. Key to the success of these missions is to the strong contingent of business leaders who join us to represent the Auckland team in a unified way. The fifth priority is the enhanced investment needed in people to grow skills and the local workforce. Skilled people are the backbone of a strong economy. We need the right people with the right skills to ensure success for our businesses and our communities. We are getting alongside skills and education in Auckland to better align and coordinate their programs and services. I'm particularly supportive of the youth transition programs that are now starting to roll out around our city to deliver these goals. We are also heavily dependent on immigration to meet our labour supply needs. The good news is our immigrants tend to be well-skilled, coming to New Zealand in their most productive years, and most certainly with the right positive attitude for change and enhancement. Immigration will make up half of our population growth over the next 30 years. We have to move beyond attracting skills into our existing industries. We also have to attract talent, entrepreneurs, investors and inventors, people who can create a powerful, high-value exporting economy. And lastly, we want to develop Auckland as a vibrant, creative world city, a true global destination. This is about developing the city's natural and built amenity. Amenity is how a city looks and feels and works, whether it offers a range of high-quality spaces, places, events and locations every day of the year, both for its citizens and its visitors. This drives our international profile and reputation as a place to live, work and potentially invest. We are now an event and show city. Major events are the key to this, and the Rugby World Cup really showed the world that we mean business, and it also means a great fillip to our economy, $500 million through that Rugby World Cup alone. Future events like the World's Masters Games will keep this momentum going. The other huge opportunity we have is to develop Auckland's visitor economy. International visitors to Auckland currently stay here for barely over a day. We want Auckland to be a destination in itself, not only for recreational visitors, but also for business people attending international conventions and exhibitions. Auckland is already a significant destination on the Pacific cruise calendar. It's great to see the amazing lift over the last 3 years from 62 cruise ships to 102 visiting our port terminal. It could be far greater though. Essential infrastructure and facilities are required, and things, as you know, are already happening. 2 days ago we announced the start of work on converting Shed 10 to a cruise terminal. Of course, the proof of the planning is in the implementation. Isn't that right, Phil? To achieve the plan goals, I'm personally looking forward to seeing some quite specific things happen in 2013. The strategy makes a business-friendly Auckland the #1 priority. ATID, our economic development wing, have begun reshaping their organisation to deliver seamless service alongside and on behalf of the government-based economic development-focused agencies. We cannot transform Auckland's economy without inbound investment. ATID are well down the track with collateral and systems for attracting and managing overseas investment inquiries. Therefore, there are already exciting opportunities in the pipeline, and you can expect a range of announcements over those investments into our local and national economy over the next few months and years. As I indicated, we're already investing in Shed 10 and are looking to provide functional cruise ship terminal. The payback will be many times that. ATID are in a promising discussion to get local firms to a greater share of cruise ship provisioning. This can run to hundreds of thousands of dollars per ship and get local firms into contention to join global supply chains. ATID are also well down the track with expressions of interest in a new film screen industry studio and media training facility. Interest is strong. We will see this progress to detailed plans, designs and contracts in 2013. You will see good progress on the Wynyard Innovation Precinct. Again, interest by ICT and related firms is strong. Next year we will see the government's new Advanced Technologies Institute established in our city. It is expected to occupy a number of sites, but we would love to see them set up their head office in Wynyard. I'm also concerned to make sure the local stays in local economic development. We need to build on the hard work of the former enterprising trusts that operated around our region. We need to ensure that we are supportive of the horse trails in Huapai as we are in the wine sector in Matakana, in the markets in Clevedon, in the arts in Titirangi, and of course all of that on Waiheke. It is critical that we maintain the local as we build the great global city. So Aucklanders and New Zealanders, we're in this together. We want a commitment from each and every one of you based on the strategic goals that have been announced here today. This is about building a great city, a great legacy for our children, and a great attractor to global investment. I'm very proud on behalf of our city to announce the launch today of the Economic Development Strategy. Nō reira, tēnā koutou katoa. Thank you.